All right. I want everyone to just imagine around them. We're going to use your imagination because that is the key. That is the direct pathway to self, to the true self. All right. So imagine around you a circle of white light, a beautiful circle like a big donut, about 6 feet in diameter, moving around. And you are free to use this, of course, for any and all purposes along the line as you go. Imagine this beautiful circle of white light around you, so bright that it expands. It wants to expand. Allow it to expand up and down all the way to a sphere of white light, a beautiful sphere, getting brighter and brighter in the process as it does it. Now I want you to imagine in the center of your chest a beautiful golden loving light about the size of a golf ball. It is so bright, so brilliant that it expands all by itself. Allow it to do so, to expand, to fill your entire body, to expand and grow brighter and brighter and fill every cell, every aspect of self, floating all the way to the tips of your fingers and the tips of your toes to the top of your head, filling you with a beautiful, warm, loving, golden light. So bright, so brilliant that it wants to expand even further. Allow it to do so, to expand outward and meet with this sphere of white light that you have already established. Now we set the intent being this is a focus of your personal energy, and any negative energy that comes your way will be completely transmuted into love and returned to its sender. And that is so. I repeat, let us set the intent that this focus of your personal energy will remain with you at all times. And any negative energy that comes your way will be transmuted into love energy and returned to its sender. It is useful for you to practice this for probably the next few days, just to reaffirm this in your intent and your energy field, but it is a way to practice and manifest love energy wherever you go and keep you protected. All right, now I want you to imagine that we are standing in a circle, however many of us there are, and your right hand is connected with the person on your right, and your left hand is connected to the person on your left. A very simple imagination exercise. And I want you to send through your right hand this loving golden energy. And that energy will pass through the person on your right and move around the circle and come back to your left. I want you to set that intent in your mind and imagine that flow of energy. Feel that beautiful, golden, loving light going from your right hand out into the person on your right. Now we have an opportunity to use and send energy primarily through the palms of our hands, our fingertips. That is why when we shake hands, we're checking someone's energy. That is why in some sort of a more spiritual service, people will raise their hands and send blessings forward, because our hands are one of our projective sources. I want you to imagine sending energy through the bottom of your feet down to the very center of the earth. Out from the top of your head to the very center of creation. Feel that energy flow. That is your normal flow, so that at any time that you feel somewhat reduced in your flow to the energy to the earth, you can simply reconnect and enhance that flow. And the same applies to the flow of energy through the top of your head to the center of creation. Now, as we feel this wonderful energy flowing through our bodies, from our left hand to our right hand, let us shift the color to green, a bright lime green. Shifting this color. Now, as we feel that color, green is a healing, growing color. It is not an accident that most healing places are painted in green. I'm not sure that the people who do that are consciously aware, but nevertheless, green is a growth and healing color. Feel the green flowing through you as a three-dimensional color. This is far more than just a color. Now, let us shift the color to yellow, the color of intellect. Feel how different that feels. Yellow is the color of intelligence. With that, we can tap into wisdom. Now, keep in mind that with your imagination, you can project these colors to other people. Now let us shift to the color blue. Feel how awesomely relaxing the color blue feels. You are also opening your awareness to feelings that you perhaps have not felt before. And you can do this at all times by setting your intent. Color blue is a very relaxing color. It is not a coincidence that the planet is covered with a blue sky and green terrain. It is a place for us to relax and heal when we can actually choose to do that. It is also useful in choosing colors to wear. So let us move to red, the color of energy. Feel the color red as it flows through you and around you. Do not bring red into the presence of people with hyperactivity. Red is an energy color. If you need energy, wear red. But beware of what we do with our colors, with our energy. We all live at different levels of power. And everyone who is listening to this is operating at a higher power than most of the people around them. So be careful of what power you send. Let us shift from red, high energy color, to a deep purple. This is the most highly evolved spiritual energy color. If you find that you need to stir someone into activity, imagine them and project red energy around them. If you are in a position to reduce the energy of a confrontation, use the blue energy to produce a area of calm, project it around that person. This is a tool that is very powerful and very useful. And as we feel this power of the deep spiritual energy, it also enables us to look into some of the depths of self, which can be some of the most fearsome places to look. For we see the awesome beauty, the awesome power, and the awesome light that is part of each of us. Now, you can use this exercise with others at any time, and you can go further by then having each person stand in the middle of the circle and project love to them. Beautiful pink loving light. Let us shift this light that we are holding to a beautiful pink loving light. How does that feel? That is a question that I ask often because most of us have not really tied in completely to our feelings. How do we feel? Do we feel warm? Do we feel safe? Do we feel loved? This is the experience of real love. Use this as a benchmark, as a referral, as a reference in your daily activities. So when you are accosted by experiences that feel somehow negative, ask the question, where is the love here? And that will provide you with answers that you need. Where is the love here? And enjoy that feeling of love that you now hold. We are here not just to learn. There are a lot of people here to do that. We are here because we have mastered these tools in this projection of the physical. So we are here to manifest this love that is so misnamed and so misdirected. It is often misused, misplaced, misapplied. Distorted, ignored, and misnamed. Often that which is called love is not. There is love and there is absence of love. That is all. Love cannot turn into hate. Hatred is not the opposite of love, rather a focus of suppressed anger. Lust is not the same as love, as it is a form of emotional excitement and can be a powerful means of expanding the pleasures of love. But love is the creative energy, the dance of light within, the quiet warmth of being, acceptance without conditions, an inner calm, the still, small voice. The physical world, the spiritual world, awareness of unity with each other, the essence of all. Love flows, never still, always in motion, cannot be held or contained, only experienced and shared. It is the living expression of Source in, around, and through us all. You are love. I am love. God is love. We are love. How does that feel? This time, I am asking for a vocal response. Anybody there? Hello?
This is Judith. I would just like to say that was so beautiful and so affirming, because it's sort of like what I am doing now in life, which is creating kindness circles, not calling them love circles, but kindness. And we've been working with prisoners doing what they can in prison at 4 o'clock every Saturday Eastern. And we have circles on the outside where we do exactly that. We raise the earth from below and above, and we connect in a circle. And then we take turns one at a time, sitting in the center for about 30 seconds, and everybody zaps with kindness. So here we are again, the same circles cropping up at crucial times.
That is so wonderful. I do this in my classes, and one of the challenges is, of course, to in the class, because everyone is all into feeling the energy, and it is a challenge to break the flow. But part of our challenge is not necessarily to break the flow, but to keep it going.
Well, what I generally do is I start with a class by asking for the strongest person in the room to come forward as a volunteer, and everybody always knows who that's going to be, and they point at them, and they come up, and then I do muscle testing, showing them how the power of their mind affects their strength. And then once they acknowledge the power of their mind, then all of the resistance to everything else kind of melts away.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That is one of the best ways of using the muscle test that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it's very dramatic.
Certainly, back when I was in the Army, I was teaching classes. I always picked on whoever was the thug of the moment to be the leader. And one of my favorite classes was alcohol abuse. And I got the thug of the moment to have permission to drink whiskey in the presence for the class. Then we tested reflexes. Nobody ever fell asleep in my classes. Sounds like you do some good stuff.
Well, we've also, with prisoners, designed kindness cards, and I don't know if Amy still has any, but we've given out 100,000 of them, and it has the meditation that we do on Saturdays. It has that on the back of the card. So they've spread throughout the country and still handing them out everywhere. And, you know, I'm working on a book called Train Your Mind to Be Kind All the Time. So I would really appreciate people's ideas on how they practice kindness in their lives.
What an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Feel free to check out my website, bewaretheaquarianage.com. There is a PDF file on there listing all of the various energies or aspects of the energies between the Piscean and the Aquarian, which we're moving into, or I have moved into. Don't get old. Sucks.
BewareTheAquarianAge.com?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm TrustOneKindness.com.
Who?
TrustOneKindness, all one word. .com.
Trust one's kindness. Got it.
One kindness.
I have dyslexic hearing, so what I hear and what is said is not always.
Absolutely. Yep.
May I come in?
Absolutely. Looking for further comments, discussion.
Judy, I'm entranced by this. I do a lot of visualization with people also, but what Judith has said about the kindness, I practice loving kindness, and so do millions of others around the world, but somehow I had not heard of the kindness circles. I will check this out, Judith. I just think it is so, it has such power for awakening.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I will check it out.
I don't know what else to do, you know. It's like, I don't know what else to do in the world, and this can transcend everything, you know. I think you
have been called to do something critically important. I was not able to come out of the flow. I go into the flow quite easily. I have a medicine wheel, a consecrated medicine wheel, and I use it on depending upon the weather every day. But today, because it's a full moon in Libra and the blood moon and the lunar eclipse, I did ceremony, and then I was at the medicine wheel today. And in the center, I received messages from all sides, but I received a message and I wrote them all down. The message from the center, when the energy was flowing, the center is mystery, as we know, was live in my center, create from the center, create anew, live the new you. I often get rhymes. I have since I was a kid. But the idea of living the new you, the flowing, I can put words to it afterwards, but never in the experience, the same as while we were, the group here assembled was all together. But I do feel rejuvenated, that my energy is in a different place. It was not down before, but it's definitely at a higher vibrational frequency from this meditation that you have offered.
Excellent.
So I thank you for allowing us to be there, and we all know that we can go there again at any time. I would like to add that I do expansive circles, probably all of us do, consciously or otherwise. And when you asked us to hold hands and expand, we circled all of Northern America. Somehow I was down in Cozumel, but I was facing, I'm from Michigan. somehow I was up, down, and Cozumel, maybe because I'm cold. But we were all our energies were touching, but I was seeing 7 of us. I don't know why. But then the numbers just blurred. But we were encircling all of Northern America, not just the United States. So clear up to almost to the Arctic Circle.
Good.
And we just stayed, and the colors were just. I have very, very good visualization skills. The colors went from pastel to bolder to absolutely opalescent for each one of them. So
Good.
It was really a tremendous color-loving flow going. Thank you for bringing this to us and through us and with us.
I thought it was a fun kind of thing to go beyond the idea of, well, we're in this little room here.
Mm-hmm.
And we can expand this thought to anywhere. That's the power of the imagination. That's the beauty of this tool that we have been given that we don't use. So we have seen and experienced it, and now you can share that as you have been sharing all your life with other people. One of the simple exercises that I share with my classes is to go around the room and put my hand about 6 inches from their head, each student, and ask them if they feel that. And most of the time they do. Now, I'll crank up the energy a little bit, but generally speaking, the whole point is absolutely simple. Our energy expands beyond our body. And you can feel that. And one of our challenges is, of course, to expand our feeling and that is one exercise. Do it by yourself, do it with a friend, hand over hand. You feel my hand in his presence. Just to expand our awareness.
How do you get them to shut off their technology to even feel or be aware?
If someone's phone goes off in our early timing, I have a hammer in my truck that I can fix that problem. And that usually works. You got to remember that most of the people here are just here to experience. They can do anything they want to do within their capability. And they do, and they explore, and that's all wonderful. But there's another proportion of us who have mastered all of these emotional tools of this planet and lessons, and we have chosen to come back in service. Think back in your life. Have you ever decided to go some direction and then found external circumstances pushed you back onto a particular path? And you went down that path and you attempted to go off in another direction, and circumstances pushed you back into that path. That's the case in your life, and I expect everyone here that is listening is in that bucket. Then you are here in service. Case of free will, my ass. And we have opportunities to do things, and there are times when we may try to go faster than the timeline and change things. and find ourselves pushed back into a particular set of circumstances. And there are other times that we find ourselves not really too anxious to go, but when Spirit says move, the first motion is that of a perhaps tickle on the back of the neck. And the next motion is, have you not responded yet? Maybe a whispering sound. And the steps build to the point of a 2x4 across the head if you don't do it, damn it. You ever notice that? I have, through direct experience, and fortunately I've learned through some of those experiences that I can learn from indirect experiences, other people's experiences, and they're sharing that I don't have to have the 2x4 across the head. Anyone have a response to that?
Hi, Stephen. It's Amy.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about this idea that I'm in a different basket from everybody else. Because I am quite dedicated to service, but I still am here learning and growing, and my emotions are a part of that. Yet, you know, on the one hand, there's truth in what you say, but on the other hand, I just noticed that I feel really uncomfortable with that thought that, well, you know, just to put it blank, that we're better than other people in some way.
But that was not the intent.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Not better. Different.
Mm-hmm. But see,
and
if the premise is that we're different because we're all through with our emotional lessons, I'm not through with mine. I know, I'm not. I'm still learning and growing in my emotional body. I can't speak for anybody else, but I can just speak for me. So that makes me nervous. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just trying to say, like, that at the same time, like, I hear a lot and feel a lot of resonance in what you're saying. So I do think that when I look at, you know, quote-unquote mass consciousness and what people seem to be doing here, I just scratch my head, you know. Yeah, we're all here to have experience. Yep, that's good. I can really, that helps to hear that said. So I'm not in disagreement with a lot of what you're saying, but that one little piece it's funny for me. That's my that one little piece is a tricky part, and I don't disagree with you. I look at that and wonder, all right, how can each of us being a part of the Creator be a better part? That's not what it is. So we need to look more deeply into what that actually means and why we're feeling that roughness, because that roughness is well earned. I'm not here to tell anybody that they are better than anybody else. We are all unique. What does that mean? Well, we're different. Okay. What does that mean? Hell, I don't know. And it's we're all learning as we go, even if we have mastered. You graduated from high school, but you go back into any high school class and you're going to learn some. Some of us have graduated from college. All that means is that somebody gave us a stamp of approval. Doesn't mean we know a damn thing. So you can't push a button where there isn't one.
Does that make sense?
I'm not sure what that means.
Well, in some conversations, that could have been a emotionally stirring kind of comment on your end.
You mean, am I emotionally stirred up? Is that what you're asking?
No. I would have detected that. And I don't believe that you are trying to stir up emotions.
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to stir anything up. I'm bringing
And
up a kind of question.
it's interesting because it's a kind of topic that could. But you note that it's not.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, I used to believe myself in this path of mastery, and I still believe in it in part. But it seems like for me it's coming down more and more to just, it's a lot more immediate now. And I get more and more uncomfortable with any thought that I'm a master, or I'm in with a group of masters, or I'm in with a group of people who are quote-unquote special in some way. I think that's what I was wanting to express my own discomfort with. Not saying it's not true. It could be true. But I just feel this unease when I hear it said about a group that I'm sitting in. I just feel like I need to raise my question or my objection about it.
Hey, that's great. That's great, because we are abused by a whole bunch of folks who have been misusing that whole concept for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And there's much, I find much beauty and resonance and truth in what you're saying. It's just that one little thing, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying I notice that I feel uncomfortable, like as if I'm an oyster and there's a piece of sand inside me.
Yeah.
So let that uncomfortableness be there and just think about what is that that I'm uncomfortable with.
And the question then comes back is, why is that? That's a can opener question. Why?
I can tell you what I think is that I think it's dangerous.
But what do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like it's dangerous for us as a church to say stuff. This is being recorded. It's going to be listened to people down the road. And I'm just worried about how they will hear it. The people coming who aren't on the call tonight don't have a chance to ask a question. I don't want to encourage people to think they're anywhere other than what they are. And I think you feel the same way.
That's totally fair.
Yeah. I think that's the seed of it, because when we're sitting here, if we were sitting in the same room in a circle face-to-face, no big deal. Anybody who's uncomfortable can stay.
Well, it's easier for us to determine intent when we are face-to-face. That is true.
Right.
Could I interrupt for a second? Because I had the same reaction as you did, Amy. This is Judith. And I immediately went through an analysis in my mind of what that was, and there was a certain elitist quality to it. And I think had you stated it slightly differently, it wouldn't have had the same kind of whoops. And that is, I thought what I made of how I interpreted what you said was not that this was elite people, but people had chosen to work on themselves spiritually in service to the planet, if you will, as compared to those who would join the Ku Klux Klan. And I felt like there is a certain elitist quality, because obviously we think it's a good thing to do what we're doing, and we don't think it's a good thing to join the Ku Klux Klan. So I don't know if that helps at all, but I understood. I had the same little blip of, ooh, that sounds elitist. But then I made it seem like I thought what you were really saying, and maybe I'm wrong too, was that people who had committed to this path, if you will, path of spiritual growth and service is very different. And so we are different from those who would join the Klan. but
or just people who are more concerned about how many cars they have or what kind of boats. And I really agree with Stephen and with you both. And it seems to me like if the whole concept is that we're projecting love, right, then for me personally, my growing edge is to be projecting love to the clan and to the people who are just worried about how many votes they have.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You know, and it's not as easy for me to do that as to project love to all of you who are in some way like me, and I put like in quotation marks. But it seems to me like the whole purpose of this church is with 1 Corinthians 12 and all our focus on diversity and, you know, that we don't judge. We say, okay, you know, your path is your way and your beliefs are your way and yours are your way, and it's all okay because it's all going the same place as long as you're not hurting somebody, right? So I just personally, I mean, it's like it's a huge thing to actually embody this all the way down into myself and into the tips of my toes. And it's a challenge for me. And there's times where I'm really snotty and I look down on other people and I think I'm better. Not that you, Stephen, are saying that we're better, but that's where it's, you know, that's where I think it's tricky. And I think that if we're honest, I suspect everybody on the call falls into that kind of judgment, which is the opposite of the kind of energy that you're teaching us to generate in your method. And so that's all. I'm just more talking about my own struggle and my own concern about the church and about, you know, our recordings.
But Amy, there's a beauty in what's happening because it really, I mean, this is the strength of a church to be able to air these things and to be confident enough that the world can listen in. And I can see you have a sort of a protective feeling about the church, which perhaps is stronger than some of the rest of us. I don't know. But it's okay. I mean, it's okay to have arguments and disagreements and clarify things. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah, no, I feel like it's okay, and I really appreciate the quality of the discourse with you, Stephen, and Judy and Judith, and you know everybody who's here. No, I'm good. I said what I need to say. I won't take any more of your time. I'll step back.
Well, that's exactly why we're here. This is beautiful. That's this hiding the word discrimination. Good God. Discrimination is what saves our lives. We discriminate between harmful and non-harmful situations, circumstances, chemicals. You want to get right down to it, don't stick your finger in a bottle of Drano. Read the instructions. Don't jump off a 10-story building. You know, you'll feel fine till you hit the deceleration part. One of my favorite arguments with the people who, speed does not kill. Speed has never killed. It's the rapid deceleration at the end of that speed called the splat effect. So it is very powerful for us to discuss these things. We must have discrimination to survive. However, judgments, which are conclusions based on inadequate information, and when have we ever had adequate information except through experience, are the pathway to disappointment. So it is useful to get rid of all judgments.
Well, we can't get rid of all judgments, but some of them are in our DNA, I think. But I try to rationalize. I try to rationalize that it's not so much discrimination, which is a sort of a generic overall casting of something, but discernment. So that discernment.
That's the magic word.
Yeah.
Discernment. And you see, a judgment is not discernment. A judgment is opposed to discernment. Judgment is, oh, that looks black, or that looks green, or whatever. But we don't know what it is because we haven't discerned what it is with adequate information. Mm-hmm. And with discernment, we know what it is. So discernment is the magic word. And that's what we're here to learn. And sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have to beat our head against the wall. Remember back when you were in high school, there were some subjects that were very easy, basically. And there were some subjects that were challenging. Those subjects that were easy, we were learning. Excuse me, I just got that backwards. We were remembering. Those subjects that were easy, we were remembering. When it was difficult, that's when we were learning. So, crank some energy in those memories. Anybody else have any response to that? One of the things that I've discovered when teaching is that we are teaching by our presence, our energies primarily. And if 10% of our words are picked up on, that's great. And that's why I like guided meditations, because they're experiential. And a lot more fun that way. But when we're teaching, it's like stirring a stick in a dark hole. You never know for sure what's going on. But every once in a while, it's interesting that Spirit will provide us with a little response to indicate that we're probably in the right direction. Not much, just enough to keep us going. Am I the only one that feels that way, or is that something that others have felt? Or did everybody go to sleep?
Well, I felt that way, but I feel more like I get that confirmation often in a day, and when I don't get it, it's usually because I'm being willfully judgmental or stubborn and doing what I want instead of the thing that is the better flow, the better way to go. And so I can really relate to what you're saying. But for me, it's more like I try to check often. And when I get that pushback, that feeling of being pushed back, sometimes I argue with it. Like I have a 3-time rule. If after 3 protests I still get the same guidance, then I surrender and I find that flow.
Well, that's cool. There are many different things that work for many different people, but learning discernment is onward and upward all the time, every time. and whatever tools that we have to share in learning discernment, I consider to be a good thing. Because that is our major lesson. And I don't have any answers, but I have a whole lot of questions. And one of my jobs is, when people ask me what I do, I'm a professional troublemaker. Because my job is to stir up thought.
You're in good company.
Good. I'm glad to hear that because I'm hoping that that's what I'm doing. Another thing that I find is that when you ring the bells of truth, they ring and people keep going on. Yeah, I got it. Okay, next. So feedback is a really funny thing. Anybody have any questions, any thoughts? You really need to do this light circle thing and then put people in the middle of it. That absolutely blows their mind. It's so much fun.
And kids especially feel it. Kids
oh,
feel
yeah.
it right away. Yeah.
So I really liked it. I really liked what you did, and I'm really grateful to you for your leadership and your generosity in offering this call. Thank you, Stephen.
Always happy to help.
Thank you, Stephen, because I experience this as truly expansive. And I know that a lot of us do similar to visualizations or exercises using our toolboxes, and they vary with what happens. We are not attempting to control them. But I truly did feel expanded, and I think that will continue to occur. So I'm grateful for that. That's part of what I am working on. That's part of what I'm being drawn to as a spiritual being, is greater expansion and letting go in the flow. To me they go together. Whether they will tomorrow, I don't know. But they have been for some time. But I also know that could change because flow and expansion mean unpredictable change, and I'm really okay with that.
Part of the definition of the word flow, motion. I've always been intrigued by the idea that there is no time in spirit. So why do we call variations in spirit vibration? Because vibration, by definition, is a function of time. Well, I don't know the answer to that. I've never seen the answer to that.
Well, maybe it's because our sensory systems are tied to time, and so that's how we perceive things.
Right. Could well be.
That's a great question, though, Stephen. I like that.
Right.
And we use three-dimensional references, I believe, even though we are multidimensional, because we've learned languages in three-dimensional ways.
Well, I'd like to thank you for tonight, all of you, and I'd like to share with you that my vision, the completion of my life's work, I guess, is going to be to somehow connect all of the kindness circles in this country, and there are many, 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 and there are also kindness circles in 91 other countries. So that's why we decided to call it a global kindness revolution, to really bring those energies that we've all been doing, but we don't know about each other, and we don't have a sense of the magnitude of both the presentation of kindness possibilities, but the hunger that everyone in this country, no matter, feels aching for kindness.
Yes, yes.
Use your imagination, spread it out. Sounds like a wonderful idea.
All right, well, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. Very good night.
Good night. Good night. Blessings and kindness all around.
And sweet dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.